slave, Templar, merchant, all are menaced by the Sorcerer Kings. If we are to have any hand in throwing off the shackles of tyranny, we must not turn on each other first. I speak of Athos. Hear my words. I live in a world of fire and sand. The crimson sun scorches the life from anything that crawls or flies, and storms of sand scour the foliage from the barren ground. This is a land of blood and dust, where tribes of feral elves sweep out of the salt plains to plunder lonely caravans. Mysterious singing winds call travelers to slow suffocation in the sea of silt, and selfish kings squander their subjects' lives building gaudy palaces and garish tombs. This bleak wasteland is Athos, and it is my home. The Wanderer. Chapter 1. The World Now and the World Before. Athos is a hot, arid planet covered with endless seas of dunes, lifeless salt flats, stony wastes, rocky badlands, thorny scrublands, and worse. From the first moments of dawn, the crimson sun beats down from an olive-tinged sky. Temperatures routinely exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit by mid-morning and can reach 130 degrees or more by late afternoon. The wind is like the blast of a furnace, offering no relief from the oppressive heat. Dust and sand borne on the breeze coat everything with yellow-orange silt. In this forbidding world, cities and villages exist only in a few oases or verdant plains. Some places don't see rain for years at a time, and even in fertile regions, rain is little more than a humid mist that falls during a few weeks each year before giving way to long months of heat and drought. The world beyond these islands of civilization is a wasteland roamed by nomads, raiders, and hungry monsters. Athos was not always a desert, and the parched landscape is dotted with the crumbling ruins of a planet that once was rich with rivers and seas. Ancient bridges over dry watercourses and empty stone quays that face seas of sand tell the tale of a world that is no more sand, rock, sun, burning heat. These are the only properties that Athos possesses in abundance. Every living creature in the world works constantly to obtain food and safeguard water. Hunters might go days without finding suitable prey, and herders must drive their flocks from place to place to find good grazing. Water is scarce in the known regions of Athos, and those who control life-giving wells or springs jealously guard access to such riches. City dwellers enjoy more security than do nomads or villagers living in the deserts. But it takes legions of workers, most of them slaves, toiling in the fields to support a city's population. Great and terrible sorcerer kings rule the city-states, each a long-lived tyrant who crushes dissent. Rapacious nobles, corrupt Templars, ruthless merchants, and legions of brutal soldiers profit from or support the sorcerer king's reigns, while the common folk groan under unjust laws and harsh taxation. Slaves survive only as long as they can earn one more day's worth of food and water with their backbreaking toil. For most people, life is a choice between struggling to survive in the wasted wilderness or trading freedom for the relative safety of the oppressive city-states. The sorcerer kings at the center of urban life are sovereigns who rose to power long ago through unchecked arcane might. In all remaining city-states except Tyr, the monarch has ruled for generations. Each sorcerer king is a formidable defiler and employs magic to prolong his or her life to near immortality. In some cities, most notably Draj and Gulg, the people view the sorcerer king as a divine being. Worship of and obedience to the ruler is usually mandatory, with Templars tasked to enforce this state religion. Within his or her city, each sorcerer king has absolute authority. Most reside in fortified palaces, teeming with minor officials and intimidating sentries, and they rarely emerge without grand entourages and marching files of watchful guards. In the face of the king's power, common citizens can ask for nothing more than to be defended, fed, and sheltered. The sorcerer kings fiercely protect the secrets of arcane magic and brook no rival mages in their cities. The sorcerer kings and their Templars strive to keep the people of Athos ignorant of the true history of the world and the secret forces that move through it. The effort is in vain, for Athos is an innately magical world that offers many paths to power. Wise druids guard their sacred groves and hidden oases with the powers of the primal spirits. Brilliant scions study the mental arts and learn to slay with a thought. Since common Athasians are forbidden to read or write, few people know the annals of their world. They do know that Athas used to be lush and green, rich with water and thronged with cities and realms. This knowledge is no secret. Any traveler can see the evidence of the former world crumbling in the deserts. Ancient bridges span empty watercourses. Dilapidated castles sag on hilltops over deserted towns. Shrines to vanished gods lie dusty and silent, and the ruins of great cities are filled with sand and monsters, all remnants of the time known as the Green Age. Fleeting tales whisper of eras that preceded the Green Age, leaving older and even more mysterious ruins. But no definite knowledge of such fantastically ancient days remains in the world unless the Sorcerer Kings know more. The circumstances that ended the Green Age are unclear. Some say that the kingdoms of that era fell into centuries of vicious conflict, wars in which spells of nightmarish power spread destruction throughout the world. Others say that the fearsome Dragon of Tyr came to Athos in a falling star and laid waste to all domains. What is known for sure is that the Red Age followed, centuries of chaos and suffering in which the civilizations of the Green Age died. Cities such as Bodach, Selic, and Waverley fell during this time. Eventually, the wars of the Red Age gutted out, leaving a blasted and desolate world that endures today. Many people refer to the current period as the Desert Age. The details of the calamity that befell Athas are not the only facts in dispute. Some say the Desert Age began a few centuries ago, while others claim that it is 2,000 or 3,000 years old. In some stories, the current Sorcerer Kings are the same immortal rulers who battled one another long ago. According to other accounts, they are the descendants of the sorcerers who put an end to the Red Age wars and founded the known city-states in the few habitable spots left in the world. Chapter 2: Magic and the Gods. The vast stores of knowledge at the Psiomark unlock the true potential within my mind. Your crude attempts at psionics amuse me, but won't prove much of an obstacle. Better to die with a spear in your hands, or delving deeper into the mind than to live with shackles around your wrists. Elven adage. Psionic power is prevalent on Athas, and many natives practice the psionic arts. Widely known as the Way, psionics serves the same purposes that arcane and divine magic serve on other worlds. It offers a potent weapon against enemies, a sturdy shield against harm, and the ability to perceive hidden things. Most nobles and merchants employ talented psionic masters to advise them, spy for them, and foil the efforts of masters who work for their rivals. Poor or nomadic Athasians who miss the chance to train their powers formally can develop wild talents, psionic abilities that can be surprisingly powerful. More than one gladiator has died in surprise after a foe in the arena used a wild talent to telekinetically grab a discarded weapon or teleport a potion fruit to a wounded ally. Arcane magic is dangerous and uncommon. Without taking special care, by using the technique of preserving, an arcane spellcaster can defile the immediate surroundings by casting a spell. Fundamental vitality is leached away. Plants wither, animals and people suffer crippling pain, and the soil at the site of the casting is drained such that nothing will grow in that spot again. Because of this harm done to the world, those who use arcane magic are hated and persecuted across Athos. They must practice their arts in secret, or seek the patronage of a sorcerer king and gain the ruler's sanction for their spellcasting. Primal magic is more widespread than arcane magic, although it is rarely practiced in the cities. Out in the barrens, wielders of primal magic serve as healers and defenders of their villages or tribes. Shamans, druids, wardens, and other primal wielders are regarded with deep suspicion by the Templars, who dislike the notion of magic that lies outside the control of their tyrannical overlords. Divine magic is virtually unknown on Athos. The gods of old have been silent for dozens of centuries. The ruins of ancient shrines and fragments of crumbling texts in the Sorcerer King's libraries suggest that the gods were more active in the past. In the absence of true divinities, Athasians turned to other types of gods. Some sorcerer kings pretend to godhood and build false mythologies, encouraging their subjects to worship them. Other Athasians venerate the primal spirits of the world or turn to cults of demons or primordials. Unfortunately for worshippers, a primordial makes for a grim and uncaring deity, taking little notice of its mortal servants. Most Athasians know nothing of the worlds and planes that exist beyond their own. Very few scholars have studied such topics at length, and their writings are locked away in the vaults of the sorcerer kings. All Athasians know the night sky and its familiar constellations, and many peoples assign different meanings to the motions of the stars and planets. Athos has two moons, Ral and Guthe. Ral, a mottled green in colour, is the closer of the two. Sages who have circled Ral report that it is covered in great green seas and mountain islands of dizzying heights. Guthe, the smaller and more distant moon, is a golden orb mantled in steaming mists, beneath which lie scarlet jungles and marshy seas. Stories tell of ancient moon gates on Athos that lead to both Ral and Guthe, but they function only at unpredictable intervals. Travelers in the wastes tell of the lands within the wind, an otherworld of magic and enchantment that exists alongside the material world. Known in some ancient texts as the Feywild or the Kingdoms Invisible, this otherworld seems to be an echo or reflection of Athos. It is absent from most places around the planet, but pockets of this realm lie in remote deserts and mountains, especially the Forest Ridge. These pockets are small. Scholars believe that the total amount of the plane remaining in existence, combining all fragments scattered across Athos, would fit inside the walls of Tyr. The lands within the wind are home to the Eladrin, an elf-like race of mysterious powers. A traveller could walk right past an Eladrin palace and never see it, because it lies in the other plane instead of on Athos. The Grey is another echo of Athos, an otherworld of shadows and ghosts. In this realm, the restless spirits of the dead linger amid the haunted ruins of great cities. Some sources call this otherworld the Shadowfell, or the Plane of Shadow. Like the lands within the wind, the Grey is home to strange and powerful creatures, including mighty shadow giants, fearsome nightmare beasts, and a race of devils that travel to the Grey when the connection between their home plane and Athos withered. Unlike the Eladrin of the Fey realm, the denizens of the Shadowfell are much more hostile to mortals who venture into their domain. Many erudite thinkers believe that the Grey acts as a barrier between Athos and other realms beyond, and that long ago the domains of the gods could be found in starry seas beyond the Grey. But the astral sea has been empty for ages. No godly domains remain within reach of mortal travelers, and the easy connections between the plane and Athos have been severed. The few Athasians who have journeyed beyond the Grey into the depths of the astral sea, usually agents of the sorcerer kings, dispatched to seek long-lost treasures, have found little more than desolate ruins and terrible abominations. Underlying the rest of existence is the elemental chaos, a vast, churning realm from which all the energy and elements of the world were formed. Some sources call this realm the elemental planes, or the inner planes. In cosmological terms, Athos is close to the elemental chaos, and vortexes such as volcanoes, sand gyres, and desert flats known as anvils link the planet to corresponding parts of the seething realm. Elemental influences grow steadily stronger and more chaotic as one travels farther away from the Tyr region, suggesting that the presence of civilization or natural life holds true elemental power at bay, or that in the distant past, the region was shielded from unchecked elemental manifestations. In the depths of the elemental chaos lies the abyss, from which come the demons that plague Athos when they are summoned by reckless rituals or planar rifts. Chapter 3. For the Desert and Beyond. Between the ringing mountains and the Sea of Silt, the traveller finds hermit, Thrycreen tracks, nomad tribes, isolated villages, and the 7 cities known to remain on Athos. One meets people of all races and classes, human nobles and slaves, elf raiders, half-giant mercenaries, and even the rare halfling wanderer. This region is the great mixing bowl of Athas, in which the different cultures of many peoples are forced to mingle or clash. The Wanderer's Journal. What remains of Athasian civilization is cupped in the broad plains and deserts between the mighty ringing mountains and the impassable sea of silt. This wide area is known as the Tyr region, after its oldest city, although these days, Tyr is no more powerful or influential than its neighbors. In fact, Tyr, mired in turmoil, is desperately vulnerable at the moment. Beyond the borderlands of this region lie desolate wastes. Some people believe that the Tyr region is the last habitable area on Athas, and that all the people remaining in the world live in these lands. The Sorcerer Kings have ruled the Tyr region for longer than anyone can remember. For generations, no one contested their power and lived to tell about it, but everything changed recently when a spear impaled Kalak, the Sorcerer King of Tyr. Kalak's death and Tyr's liberation marked the beginning of a new era, shaking thrones that had not been threatened in countless years. Rumors of Tyr's newfound freedom spread like wildfire across the 7 cities, giving pause to Sorcerer Kings who hoped that thoughts of rebellion would not spread to their own domains. We now speak of Tyr. Is it true? Kalak dead? Slaves freed? Magic wild in the streets? Doubtful, but we'll know soon enough. From the words of Shahin, a wandering hermit, may he die well. As far as most Athasians are concerned, Tyr has always existed. Certainly it has endured through the entire Desert Age, and even with the fall of its Sorcerer King, it seems likely to endure for centuries to come. And throughout all the long years of its existence, it was a city-state enslaved. That has all changed. In the courts of the other city-states, rumors of King Kalak's overthrow are only whispered, but in Tyr, the repercussions howl through the streets. Many scheme to succeed Kalak, and the Templars and other power groups vying for control struggle to keep the city-state from disintegrating into anarchy at the hands of people eager to enjoy their freedom. Nobles and merchants clamor for influence, and commoners and freed slaves openly celebrate, challenging civic authority and social boundaries at every turn. Tyr hunkers within high walls in the middle of the fertile Tyr Valley, which lies in the foothills of the ringing mountains. From miles away, a traveler can make out the massive spires of the Golden Tower rising over the city-state's walls. Not far from the tower, a brick step pyramid soars above the walls, the ziggurat of Kalak, multicolored and resplendent under the desert sun. The city walls are parched sandstone, smoothed by time and centuries of continual repair. Beyond Tyr loom the ramparts of the ringing mountains, whose topmost peaks glint with a dusting of snow during the months of sun descending. Most traffic enters the city-state through the Eastern Caravan Gate. This structure consists of 2 marble valves, each 20 feet high and nearly as wide, which are banded and hinged in precious iron. Inside, the thoroughfare known as Caravan Way leads through the Caravan District toward the heart of the city, where the Merchant District is nestled at the base of the towering ziggurat of Kalak. The spacious stone residences that make up the twin wards of the Noble District lie north and south of the Caravan District, easily differentiated from the press of adobe buildings in the surrounding neighborhoods. Commoners and freed slaves live cheek by jowl in the warrens, a medley of unplanned structures that sprawls away north of the ziggurat. Criminal gangs roam the warrens, preying on the weak. Temporary shelters built by recently freed slaves have sprung up in the Artisan District on the ziggurat's north side. Although shelter and access to water is less certain in the Artisan District, fewer bodies turn up here each morning than in the warrens. This district also now doubles as a training area for gladiators who choose to fight in the Stadium of Tyr during the infrequent games held there. The stadium separates the ziggurat of Kalak from the Golden Tower. Under the new regime, the sound of spectators screaming for their favorites is heard on just 10 days of every month. The rest of the time, the stadium serves as an overflow market of disorganized stalls, tents, and blankets where misfit traders offer a multitude of goods and services. Tyr has always been 2 cities in one: the greater city, which is composed of commoners, slaves, now freed, and nobles, and the smaller Golden City, which is dominated by the Golden Tower and is the home of the resplendent King's Gardens. Many civic structures surround the tower, along with giant warehouses that hold precious reserves of grain, iron ingots, water, and weaponry. In addition, the Golden City houses upper-class functionaries and Templars. The Golden Tower, Tyr's most majestic piece of architecture, is constructed of rare golden granite and contains dozens of chambers linked by winding passages. A separate observation spire stands nearby, a smaller version of the main tower. A soaring bridge connects the two structures. According to rumor, defiling magic binds ancient elementals to the Golden Tower, creatures that remain vigilant against potential attackers. Since King Kalak fell, all attempts at entering the tower have failed. Finally, beneath the city lies Under Tyr, catacombs that represent the leavings of more than 2,000 years of urban construction on the same site. Buried streets, cracked courtyards, and crumbling ruins abound in the darkness beneath Tyr. Secret cellars in surface buildings offer access into this dangerous realm of subterranean passages and forgotten neighborhoods. While Tyr may be a land of potential freeness from some shackles of slavery, Nibene offers wonders to those who delve further into the arcane. Why would you speak of raiders troubling the road to the arcane city? Unfortunate, I suppose, but it hardly seems like cause for concern. What wonders are abound within its walls? Who would want to go to Tyr anyway? True power lies in the city before thee. Trust me, brother, you will find a greater future here within my home. Sadag, Nibenese noble. Ancient beyond measure, Nibene is a wealthy, powerful city-state immersed in decadence and intrigue. Most Nibenese regard themselves as the only civilized people remaining in a world of barbarism and desolation. The events that take place outside the city walls are little more than the squabbles of savages. Even the architecture of Nibene reflects these prejudices. Splendid statues and carvings cover the walls, public buildings, and private homes throughout the city, depicting great heroes and honored ancestors from ages long forgotten by the rest of Athos. Some are works of surpassing beauty, some glorify ancient triumphs, and others depict shocking hedonism. Nibene is ruled by the Sorcerer King, who gave the city-state his name. He is an enigmatic, retiring figure, rarely seen by anyone but his Templars. Deep within the royal compound at the city's heart, the forbidden dominion called the Nagaramakam, Nibene immerses himself in arcane studies and mysterious pursuits, leaving governance to the bureaucracy of his Templars. He is so reclusive that rumors of his death circulate every few years, giving rise to unrest and feuding among the nobles until he appears and puts to rest any stories of his demise. I now open a new page upon the parchment, my mind in ink ready in contemplation. Listen well, wanderer, for the endless wastes hold dangers, that is for certain, but there are marvels out there if you know how but to take them. The slightest breeze stirs up a silvery pall of dust that clings to the surface like a fog. It becomes impossible to tell where the silt-laden air ends and the dust begins. When the wind blows more strongly, as it often does, the sea of silt becomes a boiling cloud of dust, the edges tinged with crimson sunlight. On such a day, a traveler near the sea cannot see more than a few feet in any direction. The dust coats his clothes, his face, the inside of his nose, and even his lungs. He cannot see the ground or the sky, and when he walks, his feet drag through inches of thick silt. He grows disoriented, and it becomes an easy matter for him to wander into the sea and disappear forever. The Wanderer's Journal. The Sea of Silt is a great dust sink that extends for hundreds, perhaps thousands, of miles eastward from the shores of the Tyr region. Long ago, it was a great sea of water, vast and deep, but now the shore slopes down to meet what looks like an endless plain of grey dust. On a calm day, it seems that one could walk out onto the plain as if it were fine sand, but the silt is too light to support a human's weight and too deep to wade for any distance. The Sea of Silt is an impossible barrier to travel, passable only along its margins by silt skimmers or waders that remain in shallow dust. In addition to natural hazards, those who brave the sea must contend with the monstrous creatures that dwell in and around the silt. Tentacled silt horrors prowl the deeps, and giants roam the shallows, walking on secret roads only they know. Even the islands in the Sea of Silt offer as much peril as safe haven. Their isolated locations make them ideal hideouts for unscrupulous types who don't want their activities to be observed. And the austerity of life on the islands turns many inhabitants to savagery. Like the ringing mountains to the west and the southern wastes to the south, the Sea of Silt forms one of the borders of the Tyr region. For most people, the sea effectively marks the end of the world. No traveller has crossed its emptiness and returned to tell the tale. Attempts to circumnavigate the silt are likewise perilous. Far to the north, a traveller faces impassable fjords and chains of active volcanoes that bar the way. To the south, the traveller ventures into desolate regions of salt flats and sandy wastes, bereft of life or shelter. In that direction, the sea appears to continue for thousands of miles without narrowing or coming to an end. It is a daunting barrier, to say the least. Beware the city dwellers, for they have the tongues of serpents, and their daggers are made of silver coins. When recounting the Tyr region, one would be remiss to not speak the words of the endless desert. The Tyr region is rimmed by the ringing mountains to the west and the Sea of Silt to the east, but to the south is nothing but desert, a vast desert that never ends, as far as anyone knows. As one travels south from the shores of the estuary of the Forked Tongue, villages and outposts peter out to wild lands where only a few lonely nomads roam. Beyond that, the traveller comes to silent, empty lands where no one lives at all, and even the vicious predators that haunt the deserts of the tablelands and the Ivory Triangle grow few and far between. These are the southern wastes, a desolate expanse that in all likelihood girdles the rest of the world. The wastes have no verdant areas or oases large enough to support a city. In fact, the desert takes on a capricious, elemental character as one ventures farther south. Just as the Sea of Silt is an incursion of elemental power into the world, the southern wastes are home to other sorts of incursions. Mazes of wind-carved canyons, plains of smoking ash, forests of stone columns that drift with the gusts, rivers of fire, seas of salt, and more. Perhaps other populated lands like the Tyr region exist somewhere beyond these terrible wastes. Or perhaps not. A terrible monster slumbers deep in the endless sand dunes, the beast known as Herimar, the sand scourge. The creature resembles a seven-headed hydra of immense size, whose breath gives rise to scouring sandstorms. A cult of vicious elementalists worships Herimar, believing that blood spilled in the dunes slakes the elemental creature's thirst and earns the cultists its favour. Many days south of Balis, a great plain of broken black obsidian interrupts the monotony of the endless sand dunes. The obsidian differs throughout the plain. It can be smooth and glassy, low and razor-edged, or shattered into jagged chunks 20 or 30 feet tall. Here and there, bare hillocks rise above the obsidian waves, crowned by a clump of hardy bushes, or a small tree, or half-buried remnants of city walls jut out of the glistening glass, like the bones of a creature that died in a tar pit. During the Cleansing Wars, a terrible battle was fought on this plain, and a defiler of awesome power broke the world's skin, flooding the area with molten black glass to destroy whole armies with one dreadful ritual. With no food, little water, and no shelter to speak of, the Deadland is one of the worst regions on Athos. By day, the sun's heat on the black ground can kill a traveller within hours. At night, the armies slain here rise as hateful undead, driven to reenact the last battles of their lives. Near the centre of the plain stands an obsidian citadel, built from rock cut from the ground by hordes of skeletons and zombies under the direction of a mighty undead lord. The tablelands are replete with ruins. Decaying towers rise from sandy wastes. Abandoned fortresses loom over stony barrens. Long-lost dungeons lie hidden in badland labyrinths. Sometimes, a vicious creature or brutish monster lairs within, eager to make a meal of the unwary traveler. Once in a while, a priceless treasure is sheltered in the remains. Only the bold and adventurous know for certain. Noble, slave, Templar, merchant, all are menaced by the sorcerer kings. If we are to have any hand in throwing off the shackles of tyranny, we must not turn on each other first.